got traded from Calgary in 1988, and it wasn't long after that he ended. He was part of the Grey Cup winning team in 1989 in Saskatchewan, and I was telling Richie, I said all I wanted to see in my life was the Riders win one Grey Cup, just one Grey Cup, and we were still suffering from the Depression of 1976. When Richie come to Saskatchewan, and anybody knows that one, you know, when Tony Gabriel was all alone in the end zone, all by himself, nobody around him. All of Canada knew that they were throwing the ball to Tony Gabriel. I'm a 14-year-old kid watching in my little squeaky puberty voice, watch out for Tony Gabriel, you know. And here he is in the end zone all by himself, and they lose the Grey Cup. And then many years after that, Richie came to Saskatchewan, and in 1989 they won the Grey Cup, and then he's been a coach here forever, and I hope he stays here forever. He's part of our fabric in Saskatchewan. Let's welcome Richie Hall.
Thank you, Richie. Thank you. I can go both, right? Can you hear me? No? Oh. Take
Whichever. Do you want to stand? Or do you want
Well, I'm kind of inconsistent to be consistent, so sometimes I go back.
whatever.
Oh, gosh. Thank you, Pastor Terry.
You're welcome.
I must confess, it seems like I've always said this before, that over the last number of years I've had the opportunity to speak to people. And it seems like you say the more that you do something, the easier it should get. Well, I could listen to you guys sing all night, and with me not even speaking, it would have been great with me, you know. But it is a pleasure. It's really a gift for myself to be here this evening, giving honor to God. You know, it's funny how our life goes, you know, how life goes. And if you would tell me 10 years ago, if you would tell me 20 years ago, 25 years ago, that I was speaking to a group of people here in Assiniboia, I thought you would be crazy. First, I didn't think I would still be here 25 years. But it is a pleasure, you know. God works in mysterious ways, and He's truly worked mysteriously within my life. And again, we don't know what the future is, but God has a plan for each and every one of us. And here in a few minutes, I'd like to kind of tell you guys my story a little bit from where I'm at, where I'm currently at. If I start sweating, just kind of bear with me. I get more nervous speaking to people than I do during the course of a football game. It shouldn't be like that. But the thing about it is I like to have fun, because I think if you don't have fun, then why you go through life? Because life should supposed to be fun. And I can't sing, but every time I get a mic in my hand, I feel like I'm just a rock star or something, you know. So I just kind of fantasize. So if I kind of go into a dream, just kind of bear with me. And if I belt out a tune or note, you'll know why I can't sing, you know. But it is a pleasure to be here. Myself and my fiancée, Helen, this is the first time she's been to Assiniboia, and I know I was here a few years ago. And you know, since I've returned to Saskatchewan, as I go throughout the province and go to various places, it just kind of brings back memories as far as the times that I have toured in all the metropolitan places here in Saskatchewan. This isn't a metropolitan place. But there's one thing that, see, for the most part, we're strangers here, Helen and I. And for the most part, you guys all know each other, you know. And we want to be just like you guys, because you guys are cool people, right? Yeah, you're not geeks or nerds, right? Well, we want to be cool just like you guys, okay? So first, I need to know who the coolest person here tonight is. What's his name? Bernie? Come on up here, Bernie. How you doing, Bernie?
Good.
We're gonna sing. No, I'm just kidding. No. Now, Bernie, you're the coolest person here. Okay? I mean, it was a unanimous choice, you know? So we want to be cool just like you. We don't want to be like geeks and nerds walking around here. We want to be just like you guys. So Bernie, I just need to ask you a couple questions. Okay? What makes you so cool?
I don't know why you're sweating. I'll blush. I don't know.
Well, I want to be just like you, okay? So what makes you so cool?
Oh, I don't know now. Let's see. You should ask my wife. That's a no-no. Oh, I don't know. I just enjoy people.
Okay, you
Enjoy people. I enjoy having fun, like you're saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You seem to like smiles.
Oh,
You
yeah,
got a
yeah,
smile on your face. Okay.
Kind of worked at it, you know.
Okay. Do you like sports?
Try that again. No, ask
We could cut this, right? Okay. You like sports, Bernie?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, football is. Yeah.
That's your first one. He's very smart. Okay, Bernie. Do you play any sports?
Used to, yeah.
Okay. What did you used to play?
I did play football.
Okay. I assume your favorite CFL teams are Rough Riders?
Yes, definitely.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
Good answer.
Yeah. No, that's a great answer. What position did you play, Bernie?
I was a linebacker.
Oh, you're one of those crazy people, huh? Okay, Bernie. So I want to be cool just like you. Okay, so let's say it's a 2012 Grey Cup. Okay? 2012. And you're playing for the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Right.
Okay? You're a linebacker. And we're up by 5 points.
Okay, sounds good.
There's one play left in the game. Closing seconds. Pressure's on. I'm the defensive coordinator. Okay? And I make a call down in. Okay? And it has you coming on a blitz. Okay? And we're playing the, I don't know, Montreal Alouettes or something like that.
Oh, that'd be good.
Okay,
yeah,
Montreal, yeah. We don't like Montreal here, okay? So we're playing Montreal. One last play left. They have the ball roughly on our 12-yard line, okay? They score, they win. We hold them. We're Grey Cup champions once again, okay? You're coming up a blitz right up the A-gap, which is right beside the center, okay? You sack the quarterback. You're the hero. We win. What do you do?
That dance, you dance.
That's not that hard, right, Bernie?
No, I guess not.
Okay. Cause see, Bernie, I want to be just like you. Okay, you're sweating up here, so I'm gonna sweat a little bit. Okay, you seem to be vertically challenged, and I'm vertically challenged. Even though I think I'm a little taller, huh? Okay.
Is he?
You like the Rough Riders?
Oh, yeah.
And when I'm excited and I do something, I'm gonna do the dance. Yeah. And that makes me cool, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because you are the coolest person here. Okay? I'm the second coolest person.
Right on.
Okay, because I want to be just like you, Bernie. I want to be just like you. So when I finish here talking, I'm going to ask you if I'm cool. Okay, and you better say yes.
I will.
Because if you say no, I'm going to become a linebacker. And you're going to be the quarterback. And you're not going to like the results. Okay? So we're cool people, right? All these other people are geeks and nerds, right? Okay, so you're the coolest, and I'm the second coolest, all right? Okay, give Bernie a big hand for being a good sport. Okay? Bernie, I didn't say you can leave. Well, you want to get out of here real quick, huh? Well, for being a good sport, I got a couple of things for you. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay, being that you're a Rough Rider fan, because I know since I've been in Saskatchewan, I always tell people they always try to brainwash people from the time they were like this, right? Saskatchewan people. And you've been a Saskatchewan Rough Rider fan all your life, right?
Yeah.
Okay. See, he's getting with the program. Okay, so we got a couple of things here So make sure that you remain a Saskatchewan Rough Rider fan.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. We'll start off with the hat also.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh.
Oh.
Hey, Braden, where is he? Oh.
Okay. And
How do you wear these? That good?
yeah, that's you, baby. That's you. That's you. That looks like the future head coach. Hope he hires me now. Okay. You said you like that in time? Okay. That's your buddy, huh? That's your little buddy, huh? All right. You got someone to cheer with you, right? And sometimes to practice, you can pretend that's the opposition's quarterback and you can hit him, right? Ooh, violent guy. Okay. And then the last thing I like to leave you here. And it says, "Don't ruff my feathers."
Don't ruff my feathers.
There you go.
Okay.
Thank you for being a good sport.
Thank you very
I
much.
appreciate that. Thank you. It's all about having fun, Bernie. I bet you all these other people wish they were cool like us. Yes. It's just you and I, baby. It's just you and I. It is a pleasure, like I said, to be here today. And, you know, I always think it's important that you have fun at whatever you're doing, you know, because if you can't have fun, then why do it? You know, one of the things that Ken Austin, when he was our head coach back in 2007, one of the things that really has stuck with me since then, and he says, our greatest commodity is our time. You know, when you think about it, that is our greatest commodity. And whatever time that we have, I believe that we should enjoy ourselves. Everything's not always going to go the way that we want it to go, okay? But we also should always enjoy ourselves, because we make a choice on where or how we spend our time. You know, so Helen and I, we got the opportunity to come down and be with you guys for your Christmas banquet. And like I said, I'm going to have a good time. Because if I'm not going to have a good time, if you're not going to have a good time tonight, why be here? And that's not being rude, that's just being honest. You know, because you can't turn back the hands of time. And again, we make the decision where we're at. Okay? That's your choice. And at the same time, we make the decision to have a good time. So thank Bernie for being a good sport. Thank you guys for having us here to be part of your evening. For some of you guys that might not know a great deal about me, like I say, my name is Richie Hall. I am, at least today, one of the coaches of the Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Thank you. I previously played in the CFL for 9 years, 5 with the Calgary Stampeders, 4 with the Saskatchewan Rough Riders. From Denver, Colorado. I call Colorado home. That's where my folks are at. Been there. They moved there in 1973. So, you know, for myself personally, Saskatchewan's the longest I've ever lived in one place in my entire life. I'll get to that part in a second here. I come from a family of 1 brother and 1 sister. I'm the middle brat. I'm a mama's boy, and I'm proud to say that. You know, there's just something about me and my mommy. I call her every morning at 5 o'clock, and she's just very special. And when I look at our family, my brothers and my sister, and my dad, we are a very close-knit family. And I believe that people are important to me. And when I think of people, I think of team. And whether we realize it or not, whether we accept it or not, we all are part of a team. Whether it's our family, whether it's our work, whether it's our friends, whether it's anyone that we're associated with, that's part of a team. And I want to come back to that later, because a question that I want to ask you guys at the beginning, and then I want to ask you guys at the end concerning team, because team is important. Team involves more than just one person. And we're never by ourselves, so we are always part of something. Okay? As you can see, I'm not a very big person. When I played, I was 5'6" and 160 pounds on a good day. Now, today's not a good day, because they say you're taller in the morning than you are in the afternoon. And if I spoke to you guys before noon, you would have got to experience me at my maximum peak. I'm just a little short right now. My nickname was Half Pint when I first came in the league. Coach Barrett, Danny Barrett, that was the head coach here for a number of years. We came in the league together in Calgary, and he gave me the nickname Half Pint. So I figured since I played for a few years, I matured from half pint to pint, and if I would have played that last year, they probably would start calling me Quart. When I look back on my life, I'm a very blessed person. For whatever reason, God has found favor on me. He's allowed me to do the things that I've dreamed of. Now, it's not always been an easy road for myself, but for whatever reason, I'm still fulfilling a childhood dream, and that's being involved with sports, and it's just something I'm very thankful for. I don't know why, but he has found favor on me. When I look back over my career, and hopefully it's going for a little while longer, I was fortunate to be part of 2 Grey Cup teams. That's the ultimate, that's why we play the game. And there's something that I want to boast on. And in Saskatchewan's history, there's only 6 people that have been around for 2 Grey Cup trophies or winners or whatever, or carry 2 rings. And I like to think that, well, not to think, I'm one of them. There's Ken Austin, who was part of the 07 and 89 Grey Cup team. There's myself. There's Normie Fong, who was our equipment manager. There's Ivan Gutfriend, who's our trainer, and also 89 and 07. And then there was Al Ford, who was part of the 66 and the 89. And I don't know who the 6th person is, but I can't remember who the 6th person is. But I am very proud to be part of that very selective fraternity. I don't know if you guys ever seen our Grey Cup rings. Okay. But it's these little guys right here. And you know something, it's something that I'm very proud of, because it's one of those things that you start off, that you work for, and you work and you work and you work, and when you're able to achieve your dream, you're able to achieve that goal, it makes it a little bit special. And we were rewarded after the end of 89, at the end of 07. I'd like to tell you a little bit about this ring. Okay, and this was our 89 Grey Cup ring. This means a little bit more, a little bit different than the 07 does, even though this is very special to me. And a lot of this is just because I was a player. And I don't know if you guys ever heard the story behind these rings, but the reason why it's the size that it is because it had to be bigger than an Edmonton Eskimo ring. See, you get to design your own ring. When you win the championship, it's not a standard ring that they give out to everybody. And their 87 Grey Cup ring was a pretty nice ring, so that kind of set the bar. We wanted ours to be a little bit bigger and a little bit better. But there's a story behind this ring. There's 43 diamonds in this ring, or 43 stones in this ring. And that represents the 43 points we scored during the course of the game. And it was just coincidentally that it came out to 43, because our 43rd diamond, okay, it wasn't planned, but the jeweler put it in the side of the helmet. He was counting up the stones, and it was 42, so he put the 43rd one right in there. Okay, we beat Hamilton 43-40. There's 6 large diamonds down each side border, okay, and that represents the 12 victories we had during the course of the year. 9 during the regular season, and then 3 during the playoffs. There's 23 stones in the face of the ring, and that represents the 23 years in between the 2 Grey Cups at the time. There's 2 green emeralds, and that represents the 2 victories that we had in the Grey Cup up until that time. There's our name, our number, Rider Pride, picture of the Sky Dome, the date, and the score all in this ring. So it's something that's very special. It's more than just a ring. It's something that's very special, that it kind of culminates the whole season for us. Hi. And then our '07 ring, there's not really a big story around that other than it's a nice ring. You know, there's a thing about it is that I'm not a big jewelry person, but they say a man's best friend's a dog and a woman's best friend's a diamond. Well, I'm going to hang out with the ladies now, you know. That's pretty nice. That's pretty good. You know, it's good to be back in Saskatchewan. You know, in all honesty, if it was up to me, I still would be away, you know, because I did enjoy my time away as far as being the head coach with the Edmonton Eskimos. For whatever reason, you know, God gave me that opportunity. You know, and it's the funny thing about when we look at our lives, at least when I look at my life, a lot of times we get frustrated or we get down or we get irritated because we don't get the blessings that we want. But you know something? When we step back, look about the blessings that we do have. You know, I'm no longer still a head coach with the Edmonton Eskimos, but you know something? God still gave me the opportunity to do something that I enjoyed doing, that's coaching. He still gave me an opportunity to do other things in my life. You know, so many times we get mad that we don't have certain things, but we forget to appreciate the things that we do have. You know, and I'm happy to be back. You know, we didn't have the kind of season that we wanted to have this year, but you know something? At the end of the day, I enjoyed this year. Because, again, it's how do you view something? You know, you could be pessimistic or you could be optimistic. And I was raised in regarding this. No matter how bad a situation is, you can always bring something positive out of it. You know? And if it's one of those things, if you're looking for negative things, you know something? You're always going to find negative things. You know? Because there's always negative things that are going on around us. Okay? But what are you going to bring out? Okay? Strive to find that positive thing. You know, because I know when God looks at us, He's not looking for the negative things. He's looking at the positive things that can make His kingdom a better kingdom. You know, that's what God's looking at us, the positive things. And that's what we should be looking at each other. Because we all dwell on the negative things. You look at our society, there's nothing but negative things there. Okay? That's fine. Okay? How can we make this better? What are we going to do to make this a better world? What are we going to make this a better situation? Because it's all up to us. I mentioned earlier that we're all part of a team. And to me, when I look at being part of a team, it's really two things. The question that I have for you right now is, are you on a team, okay, or are you part of a team? Whatever team that is, are you on it or are you part of it? Because you know something, to be on a team, it doesn't take a lot of things. To be on those Saskatchewan Roughriders, I'm on that team. Okay? Because I'm one of the coaches. We have the players. Okay? To be part of something takes something. Because it takes some commitment. It takes some selflessness away from you to make it better than what it is. Okay? To be on something, you have your families. Okay? You were born into your family. You have your group of friends. Whatever it is. Okay? To make it better than what it is, you have to give something of yourself. So regarding being on part of God's team, and that's a team that I want to talk about. Am I on God's team or am I part of God's team? Okay? Because see, Jesus Christ, He wasn't just on a team. He was part of a team because you look at what He did for each and every one of us. Now, regarding my story, I was brought up in a Christian home, you know, and at a certain age, okay, it was kind of expected of me, or expected of each one of us, to accept Christ as our personal Savior, you know, and I remember endless Sundays going to Sunday school and church and spending all day in church and going to choir rehearsal and going to Bible study and this and that. So at some point in time, this is what we were supposed to do. You know, I kind of had somewhat of a misconception, okay, because of that. You know, so when I was 13 years old, I accepted Christ as my Savior, okay? Then I was on a team, okay? When you're on a team, are you content to just standing right here? Or do you want to grow? And when you become part of God's team, okay, it's turning away the old self and becoming a new person. Now, I wish I can sit here and say that I had all these problems and all these situations that occurred, but it didn't. What was different in my life? Well, what was different was God should have been the center of my crown, center of my throne, where I evolved around him. But sometimes I did, sometimes I didn't. It was kind of when it suited me. When you're kind of going on and off, a lot of times you don't see a change in your life. There's a lack of consistency. I think as a coach, one of the things that we look for our players is looking for consistency. Looking for consistency. Because when you are consistent, that's when you see improvement. When you're consistent, that's when you see growth. Well, until I became consistent in following Jesus Christ, things didn't change within my life. But all of a sudden, like going to church, participating in church, went from something I had to do to something that I wanted to do. Because see, roughly when I was about 15 years old, I wanted to start having a relationship with Jesus Christ. Okay? Having a relationship, just not being on the team, but being part of a team. And again, being part of something means what? Giving up of yourself. Okay? It wasn't about me. It was about something that was far greater than myself. And when you do those kinds of things, at least for myself, I saw things within my life changing. Not saying that I had a bad relationship with my parents, but just things regarding my confidence and my desire and things that I want to live for changed. Because it wasn't about Richie Hall. It was about living my life for Jesus Christ. Okay? Then all of a sudden, something happened. One of the first, stumbling blocks in my life. Because I look at my life as being somewhat of a roller coaster with my walk with Jesus Christ. I graduated from high school. And I was getting ready to go to university. And I couldn't wait to go to university. You know why? Because I didn't have to live at home. You know, it was only about 45 minutes away, but I can go to bed when I wanted to. I could eat what I wanted to eat. If I want to clean my room, I didn't have to clean my room. I was my own person, you know. And for me, when I look back on it, you know, we always think that we're ready, but until we actually go through things, we were not really ready. And when I went to school, I thought I was ready. You know, I was 17 years old, and I'm ready to go conquer the world. I could be my own person, you know, because again, growing up at a certain age, I can't tell you what always that age is that, you know, us young people at the time, you know, we wanted more independence than what our parents wanted to give us. Well, all of a sudden up at school, I had my own independence because I was my own boss. Well, when I was up there, I somewhat became, I guess, consumed by the world. You know, I wasn't strong enough to do things that I knew were wrong, to say no. You know, because all of a sudden it was important that my friends had a certain amount of opinion and attitude towards me than I had for myself. And I saw myself, you know, whether it's partying a lot, doing things that I know weren't right, but their acceptance was very important to me. Their acceptance was more important than my walk with Jesus Christ. You know, but at the same time, when I got in trouble or when I needed God, I would pray, I would go to church, I would do the things to do to make myself feel good, and my life would start getting back on track. Okay? But as soon as it got back on track, God thrown him to the backside. You know, I remember countless times I'd be sitting in my dorm room reading my Bible, and I get a knock on the door, and I go, "Who is it?" I go, "It's Joe." I go, "Hold up." Take my Bible, throw it underneath my bed. He goes, "What are you doing?" I go, "Nothing, just kind of hanging out." You know, because see, I was a closet Christian. You know, to a degree, I was ashamed to let him know that I was a believer, that I read the Bible, that I depended upon God. Being 45 minutes from home, anytime I got homesick, anytime I felt all alone, I hop in the car, 45 minutes later, I'm at home. Home security. Yeah, home gives me strength. You know, home is comforting for me. You know, and always when I was at home, I get back on the straight and narrow. But every time I go back to school, over a certain period of time, then I start wavering because I wasn't strong enough. And then all of a sudden, we had a gentleman by the name of Tom Lamford who was affiliated with Athletes in Action, and he came and spoke to us. And he wanted to start up a Bible study with our football team. And I want to participate. And for me, that was one of my first steps as far as stepping out of my faith. The reason for that is because it was an environment that I hadn't been very strong with. You know, letting my friends know that I was a believer. Letting my friends know that I did turn to God and I did go to church. And that I was changing from the ways that I once had on a consistent basis. Okay? And surrounding myself with people that felt the same way. Okay? So instead of surrounding myself with people that were bringing me down, I was surrounding myself with people that were going to help me build up. And that was important for me, especially in the environment that I was at, and that was at school, because I was making my own decisions. My parents weren't telling me I had to go to church. It's because I wanted to go to church. I wanted to do it in an environment that wasn't being positive for me up until that time. And that was probably, when I look back on my Christian walk, that was probably the most important step in my life at that particular time, is because I was out in the world. I wasn't strong enough to overcome the world, okay? But I was on the path as far as going this way versus continually going that way. Then all of a sudden, graduating from college, having an opportunity to play CFL football. And for whatever reason, God gave me an opportunity. And going on to Calgary, I mean, here it is, fulfilling a childhood dream to be a professional athlete. Now, like I said, when I was in Denver, when I was in Fort Collins where I went to school at, I was only 45 minutes from home. So anytime that I was lonely, anytime I was troubled, all I had to do was go home. Well, all of a sudden here I was in Calgary, doing something that I enjoyed doing. But you know something? I didn't know a soul. And I was out there competing and feeling all alone. It's the first time in my life that I ever felt all alone. And I remember being a mama's boy, I used to call home all the time, collect. And I remember calling home one day, and the operator says, "Will you accept charges from Richie Hall?" There was no answer. And I go, "Mommy, it's me." And then finally says, "Yes, we accept the charges." I go, "Hi, how you doing?" She goes, "Fine." She goes, "What about you?" I go, "I'm doing all right. I'm hanging in there." I go, "What took you so long to accept the charges?" She goes, "Well, Richie, your father and I, we just got the phone bill." And she goes, "We love hearing from you, but you don't have to call every day. It's getting a little expensive." I go, "Well, Mommy, you know, I feel so all alone. I'm doing something I enjoy doing, but I have no one to talk to, and I just feel like I'm just here." And she goes, "Well, have you ever thought about leaning up on the Lord as your friend?" And, you know, growing up in the church, you know, I used to hear all the time people talk about how they lean up on the Lord as far as being a provider, as a healer, as a comforter. But I never heard anyone say they leaned up on the Lord as being a friend. And I can truly say, since May of 1983, Jesus has become my best friend. And see, what makes it very special about being your best friend, you know, he knows everything about me. He knows every bad thought that I might have or had. He knows everything that I've done. He knows all my skeletons, but he's always still been there. And he's always been there for me. He's never too busy for me, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. There's many times The young people they wouldn't understand this, but at one point in time when you made a phone call, sometimes you got a busy sound on the other side, on the other end. It's none of this call waiting. Well, I remember many times that I used to call home and it was busy, okay? Or I'd call and my folks weren't home. But you know something? Every time I call Jesus Christ, he's always there for me. He's never too busy for me. You know, I can't think of a better best friend to have than Jesus Christ. You know, what he's done for me, what he sacrificed for me, even though he knows everything about me, but yet he still risked his life and gave his life for me. See, I get into poems a lot, and when I think of Jesus Christ as my friend, there's a saying that goes, don't walk in front of me, I may not follow. Don't walk behind me, I may not lead. Just walk beside me and be my friend. And that's what he is to me. He's my best friend. I can talk to him anytime that I want. I don't have to make an appointment. It doesn't matter where I'm at, and he's always there for me. And I can't think of a better best friend to have than Jesus Christ. 1988, May of 1988, was probably the blackest day of my career. I was traded to the Saskatchewan Roughriders. I'm just being honest. I wasn't, when they told me I was traded, I wasn't like, Barry, I wasn't like, yeah. I was like, no. You know, because where we were at in Calgary in 86 and 87, we thought as a team, we thought we were on that verge of being bona fide Grey Cup contenders. We had lost to Edmonton in the semifinals the previous 2 years, and we thought we were progressing this way. And Saskatchewan was just probably a year or two behind us, you know. But when you look back on things, it's probably the best thing that could happen to me. But unlike when I came to Calgary, it was a lot different than when I came to Saskatchewan. Because you know something? My best friend was with me. You know, I was going there, but I wasn't all alone because I had Jesus Christ beside me. Wherever we go, we are never alone. You talk about being part of a team. Well, I'm part of God's team. And when you're part of something, you're not by yourself because it's not about you, it's about us. You know, in order to be part of something, it means giving up some of yourself. Okay? It means about having a relationship. And see, that's all Jesus Christ wants to do with us, is have a relationship with us. Okay? But it's not all one-sided. Relationships aren't one-sided. It's not all about what can you give me. It's what can I do for you. You know, Jesus Christ he's the ultimate leader. What has he done for us? He's given his life for us. You know, in this wacky life that I've chosen as a profession, I can't imagine not having Christ in my life and being able to what I like to think, to be able to maintain an even keel. You could be a professional athlete, you could be a doctor, you could be anything you want in this life without Christ. But I don't think you can have the joy, the security, and the happiness unless you have Christ. Because at some point in time, those things, what you do, is going to be removed. And it's what do you have and who are you? You know, since 1988, there's about 4 things that I lean upon the Lord for ever since I've come to Saskatchewan, or when I look back on things that have become very important to me, you know, that I draw strength from. I already talked about Christ being my best friend because I'm never alone. And I'm able always to talk about things with him, even though he knows everything. Okay? But I'm able to sit there, driving in a car, and having a conversation. Okay? The other thing that I depend upon the Lord for is he's given me the security, the assurance that everything's going to be okay. And to me, knowing that, it makes it a lot easier. Didn't say it was easy, but it makes it a lot easier dealing with whatever adversity that I have. Knowing that when it's all said and done, God is not going to leave me, and he's going to take care of me. And like I said, in this profession that I'm in, we're here today. Coaches are hired to be fired. And I'm human. If I don't have a job whenever, I'm going to be disappointed. Okay? But it's not going to kill me because I know God has something else in store for me. I know when they let me go in Edmonton, I would love to have been the head coach there this past year. But that's not what it was in the cards. But I also know that God was going to take care of me. We might always get what we want, but he'll always provide what we need. And that's the assurance that I love. That no matter what the situation is, I know in my heart that it's going to be okay. God's going to take care of me. The other thing that God has provided for me is strength. The strength and the courage to face my adversities. It's easy to face the things when things are going well. Okay? It's what do you do when things aren't going well? You know, do you quit? Do you stop trying? Do you give up? You know, when I look at Jesus Christ, because he's the ultimate leader, he didn't quit, he didn't stop, and he didn't give up. There's so many times that he could have. Because look what he endured for us. And I'm so thankful that he didn't quit. You know, he gave his life. He carried the cross. He took lashes. He took nails in his hands. He could have stopped it. He's God. But he didn't. So if he's not going to stop, then why should I stop? Will you try to emulate our leader? God never said it would be easy. But I know with him on my side, I can achieve anything. We're not always going to get whatever our goals are. But as long as you keep trying, you have an opportunity to be successful at whatever one chooses to do. You know, I love sports. I love football. If we lose a football game, that doesn't mean that we lost the season. If you mess up a play, that doesn't mean that the game is over. You know, the reality is this. Bad things are going to happen to all of us. That's life. You know, just because we have a goal, because we want to do something, that means we're going to get to, that doesn't mean that we're going to achieve it. And if we're able to achieve it, that doesn't mean it's going to be peaches and cream. We were Grey Cup champions in 1989. We were Grey Cup champions in 2007. But it wasn't an easy road. We had setbacks. We lost games. We were disappointed. But you know the thing that we didn't do? We didn't stop. We didn't quit. You persevere. And see, that's what God wants us to do, to persevere. Because the reality is what? Things are going to happen in our lives. And it's what do you do? Because it's our choice. Do we stop or do we keep going? See, to me, the easiest thing in life to do is to not do nothing at all. Is to quit. To me, it doesn't take any effort to quit. But when you're knocked down, you know something? It takes something what? To pick yourself up. That's hard. See, that's what character is. That's what strength is. You know, when Jesus Christ was knocked down, he didn't quit. Well, if we're supposed to emulate our leader, he's our role model. Okay? Then we can't feel sorry for ourselves. We got to pick ourselves up. And we got to keep moving forward. And we have to understand that sometimes we're going to get knocked down a couple times before we go forward. Okay? But as long as we continue to work to go forward, good things are going to happen. At least that's the way I was raised, and that's what I believe. We just don't know when they're going to happen. I'm not a very good basketball player. Okay? But I like basketball. Okay? But to me, the way that I look at life is I can see here from a three-pointer, and I can shoot and I can miss. I can shoot and I can miss. I can shoot and I can miss. And I'm not a failure. I become a failure when I stop trying. I can miss 99 times in a row. As long as I'm willing to take that 100th shot, I got a chance of making it. And see, that's what I think God wants us to do. He doesn't want us to give up when we're knocked down. He wants us to pick ourselves up and continue to move forward, to persevere, to strive to go forward. You know, that's what Christ has taught me. It's about strength. It's about courage. Because it takes something like that to move forward. To me, that's what it takes to be part of a team. Because it's what? Putting your selfish ways aside and moving forward to the betterment of what one is trying to achieve. Because whatever you're trying to achieve, you're not by yourself. Because you're never by yourself. And then the last thing that when I think about Christ, when I think about being part of this team and things that I've learned, is the unconditional love that he has for us. God loves us unconditionally. He knows everything about me. He knows every bad thing about me. But he still loves me. He's always been there for me. I might not always been there for him. But every time I needed him, he's always been there with his arms out. Like I say, he's been my best friend. And he loves me because he's demonstrated that by what? Giving us the ultimate gift. And that's giving us his life. See, I wish I could sit here this evening and tell you guys that I have unconditional love for everybody. I don't. I strive to. I'm just being honest. I strive to. Because you know something? It's one of those things when people are doing good things for you, you love them and you embrace them, and things are going well. All of a sudden they cross you or they backstab you. Because, you know, as human beings, we do that. All of a sudden, Satan kind of creeps in. You kind of have a different attitude towards them. And then all of a sudden, it's like, nah, you stay over there. Can't stand you. There's a wall that's between me and you because of what you did. Well, you know something? If God had that same attitude, we could never cross that wall. But see, that's how much God loves me. That's how much God loves you. Because he sent, I don't have any children. But I can't imagine sending my only son to die for millions and millions of people, people that are going to hate him, talk about him, have nothing good to say. But he gave his life for us. That's how much God loves us. That's unconditional love. And I strive to have a grain of that. Because I think a grain of that is pretty good. You know, when you talk about characteristics that your ultimate leader has, being part of your team, to me, love, strength, assurance, and being a best friend, to me, those four things, I think that's the making of a pretty good team. You know, and I'm proud to say that I'm proud to be part of God's team. I'm glad I'm not where I used to be when it was a closet. You know, I'm part of the Grey Cup team every year because I'm part of God's team. You know, and I know that back in 1989, Coach Gregory was awarded Coach of the Year. But you know something? God's been my Coach of the Year every year. It doesn't matter how many games we win. See, that's what makes it special being part of God's team. See, I don't have to be 5'10". We're okay there, Barry. You know, I don't have to have a lot of hair. I don't have to have muscles or whatever. It's just who I am. Because that's how God takes us. Unconditionally. Unconditionally. There's two things I'd like to leave with you guys. And one is, you know, this season. that I struggle with Christmas. I'll be honest with you, I struggle with Christmas. And the reason why I struggle with it, again, I know one of the things I always talk to our players about, how do we get better? Okay? I don't talk about wins and losses. Okay? I talk about improvement and consistency. And when we're improving, we're consistent at what we do, that's when growth occurs. And wins will take care of themselves. The thing about Christmas time for me is, let's just take the month of December. People are in a giving mood. They're cheerful. They're happy. Can I do this for you? Can I do that for you? But it seems like as soon as Christmas is over, there's a whole different attitude. Being a follower of Christ, Jesus wants us not just during the Christmas season, but he wants us every day. And to me, our challenge at least for myself, is I strive to have a Christ-like attitude, not only during the time that we're honoring him for his birth, but every day of the year. Because it's not about being a Christian or being a follower of Christ on 2 weeks from today, which is Sunday, which is the 25th of December, but it's about every day of the year. So the challenge that we have, that I want to challenge you with, is let's have that attitude 365 days a year, not just the 30 days in the month of December. Two things. These are adjectives of Christmas. And we know how we spell Christmas. Christmas. Okay? Our C is for commitment and courage. Okay? Our H is for heart and hope. Our R is for relationship and righteousness. Our I is for integrity and influence. Our S is for strength and sacrifice. Our T is for truthful and thankful. Our M is for mercy and miracles. Our A is for assurance and accountability. And our S is for selfless and sharing. To me, I'm saying this because I'm saying this, I think those are pretty good adjectives regarding Christmas. The last thing I'd like to leave you guys with is I love poetry. And I'm not a poet, but I love reading it just because I love little sayings. And on my board at work, there's a lot of things that I put up there. And because of what it does, it just makes me think. It puts things in perspective. Okay? And this one, some of you might have heard it. It's a poem. And it's called, excuse me. 'Twas the night before Jesus came. Some of you might have heard it. It goes as follows. 'Twas the night before Jesus came, and all through the house, not a creature was praying, no one in the house. The Bibles were laying on the shelf without care, in hopes that Jesus would not come there. The children were dressing to crawl into bed, not once ever kneeling or bowing a head. And Mom in her rocker with baby on her lap was watching the Late Show while I took a nap. When out of the east there arose such a clatter, I sprung to my feet to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters, and threw up the sash. When what to my wandering eye could appear but angels proclaiming that Jesus was here. With a light like the sun shining forth a bright ray, I knew in a moment this must be the day. The light of his face made me cover my head. It was Jesus returning, just like he said. And though I possess worldly wisdom and wealth, I cried when I saw him in spite of myself. In the book of life, which he held in his hand, was written the name of every saved man. He spoke not a word as he searched for my name. When he said, "It's not here," my head hung in shame. The peoples whose names had been written with love he gave to take to his Father above. With those who were ready, he rose without a sound, while all the rest were left standing around. I fell to my knees, but it was too late. I had waited too long and thus sealed my fate. I stood and I cried as they rose out of sight. Oh, if only I had been ready tonight. In the words of this poem, the meaning is clear. The coming of Jesus is drawing near. There's only one life, and when it comes the last call, we'll find that the Bible was true after all. You know, being on a team is one thing. Being part of a team is another thing. Where are you? Whether it's your walk with Jesus Christ, whether it's within your family, whether it's within your coworkers, whether it's whatever things that you are part of. Because again, it comes back to your time, your choice. Time is the greatest commodity that we have. And when you're part of something, what are you willing to give to make that team a better team? To make that team, at least in my terms, a championship team. Are you on it? Because to be on it doesn't take a lot. But are you part of it? Because being part of something, it means giving yourself. And I know being part of God's team, I know what he gave us. He gave us his son. And through his son, he gave us his life. I don't want to be content just being on his team. I want to be part of his team. And that's about having a relationship. And again, that's a question that you have to ask yourself, regardless of what team you're on. Okay? Do you want to just be on it, or do you want to be part of it? Again, we'd like to thank you guys for inviting us out to be part of your Christmas festivities. We wish you guys all the best in the Christmas season. And I pray that we all take our Christmas attitude, not only at Christmas time, but throughout the year. Thank you very much.